Seeing an iPad kid, I'm like, wow, what job is he gonna have? He knows more about scrolling to the next video than like anything that will help you get a job.
He said what?
High schoolers
oh, this is cringe, I like it.
Kids. 3,
oh,
2.
Wait, hold on, say one of them?
High schoolers are kids. 3, 2, 1.
Not really.
I feel like to say high schoolers in general are kids is almost like defeating the people who are in the minority. Like for people like me who have grown up more just mature for my age and I guess fitting more an adult mindset, I feel like I can't say for myself that I'm a kid because I definitely make adult decisions time and time again. I mean, there are people who still have the mindset of kids, but I can't say high schoolers in general are kids. I
feel like with high school, it's such a broad statement to say high schoolers because there's a giant difference between a freshman and a senior. Like it is, that's why like when they try to date each other, it's like, why is that 18-year-old trying to date the 14-year-old? Like it just doesn't make sense. I feel like it would be naive to ignore the fact that like, especially anyone who's a senior, they're about to be a legal adult.
I think kids need mentoring. That's how I see it. I mean, adults too need mentoring, but I think kids need that extra help and that extra push. I've seen many kids who have been forced to be older or act older as they are, to mature faster. That's why I went for agree.
I want to move.
You want to move? Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I
Talk
didn't
us
know if I
through.
could.
What are you thinking?
Well, I
Can I
agree.
get
I
a
feel like there's
welcome
just
to
so
the
many
jungle?
decisions, especially in high school, that we have to make that are not like kid-like, and they expect us to act a certain way. And also like the fact that we're even able to drive, how should we still be considered a kid?
Do you mind if I move? Yeah. I moved because I feel like, especially at that 16 to 18 age, you're constantly planning for your future where it's actually difficult to live in your childhood.
Dude, I don't think they're kids per se, but in the grand scheme of things, they kind of are. That's just kind of how it is.
It's just kind of, you're unable to live as a child, so it's like, how can you consider yourself one when you're constantly planning for your adult life and future?
When I was a freshman, all the teachers around me always told me that I needed to prepare for my future. And I feel like, especially coming after online school and quarantine, I'm still living in that middle schooler mindset. I'm still basically like a kid living and preparing for my future, which I'm clearly not ready for.
I feel like kid is kind of a weird word. So like it's just kid and adult. And I feel like in high school, I kind of want to be thought of as a kid because it's kind of like, oh, he's a kid, right? It's like an excuse almost. Like you're allowed to mess up. I really can't like look at my classes full of 18-year-olds and say, these are adults. Like, I feel like now it's later and later we're turning into adults. I don't feel like we turn in, I mean, of course there's people that have to pay bills at 16, but to say a high schooler is an adult, I feel like I like to know that I can grow so much more from that. Like, oh, I did that when I was a kid, not as an adult.
Today's high schoolers have it harder than previous generations. 3, 2, 1, go.
No. Yo, back in my days, yo, if you didn't know shit about your project, you had to go to the fucking local library, bitch. Now you open up your thing, you go to Wikipedia, you go to Google. What are you on about? What are you on about?
I feel like now, our generation, we have more resources for help that we need, you know? And way back then, like mental health, that was like, they would put you straight to camp or like some conversion, stuff like that. But I feel like now there's just more resources. We have the internet, we have the media. Like, would you have wanted to send a pigeon to your friend instead of texting your friend? Like, you know, stuff like that. Like, would you want to have?
We also have less things to be depressed about, though. Especially growing up at a young age, we didn't have social media that much or some shit like that. We had nothing to compare to. We didn't give a fuck.
You know, we just have it easier now.
I feel like it's an in-between thing because I feel like social situations now are much better, but back then they were much worse. I feel like there was racism, teachers could beat their own kids, and I feel like now there's so much things that we cannot do, and I feel like it's for the better.
Can I move?
When I think about this question, I kind of like...
This guy's comparing like the 50s and the 60s and the current day and age. This guy skipped the fucking beat for sure. Went
to bullying and how much easier it is to get bullied nowadays, especially on social media. Because it's so easy to hide behind a screen, people say worse things. And I think that mental health, maybe it was just as bad back in the day, but because of social media, it's become more prominent and we see it everywhere. Another thing that I also thought about was you guys say that we have more resources, but don't you, well, you don't have to agree, but I feel that the resources have kind of made us a little less smart. Because we're able to look up that, like, the answers to our test, or like, I don't know, everything's just so much more accessible that I'm not really learning as much as like my mom and dad did. So I kind of like sad that all our resources are so much more accessible.
That's your problem. It's true because you make it a problem. If it usually though, it's not a problem. Yep. Just it's a skill issue. You have the info, pick it up properly, learn. That's it.
Accessible. Yeah, I know some dumb, people like, they're like, is it hot outside? And then they'll go to their phone and check the weather. Like, just go outside,
I feel like school right now is so easy for our generation. Like, it is so incredibly easy. Like, especially now that I'm in senior year, I mean, I'm not taking incredibly hard classes, but like, they don't even give you homework because they know you won't do it. Yeah. Like, it's like, they would rather have you pass than like teach you something. And like, the amount of kids that held back is like nothing. Like, it's just, oh, keep going ahead, go ahead, go ahead. And so like, seeing like classrooms from like older generations, it seems like, oh, they're like learning, there's more respect to the teachers. Now like, there's like such little discipline that every class is just like a muck.
I feel like just because things are easier does not mean it's better. My friend goes to college in San Diego, and there's literally a group chat for people in a nursing major just to cheat on the work. And if we're having nurses that don't even know how to like give you medicine, stuff like that, it's scary.
I did want to hit on how the pandemic impacted you guys.
Yeah, I think it did impact our generation. I know personally, I was always so great at talking growing up, and then going into coronavirus, not really like talking to my friends a bunch and like being kind of like antisocial and to myself. Coming out and having to talk to adults was like terrifying. I didn't want to do it at all. I couldn't even talk to like my peers.
When I went back to school, I felt like I was still in 8th grade in middle school, so it was very hard for me to adjust, and this was definitely like the biggest change like that affected our generation, if you think about it. We didn't deal with the bubonic plague or a big, stuff like that. Like this was the biggest impact.
Why are these guys comparing like things from the 50s, the 60s, and then things from the fucking ancestral times of the fucking medieval knights and shit in like EU or some motherfucker, man? Like, comparing the fucking flu variant to a fucking black plague with no medicine at the time? Are you fucking high on some powder or some shit? Like what?
I remember going back to school, I was so anxious. Like I would take half a Xanax, almost every morning because it was so bad.
There was this day where we can finally take off our mask, and it was so weird seeing everyone, but I never knew what to do with my face. It was just crazy.
I feel ready to explore my sexuality. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't know what that is. What is like dating and stuff?
Why would they ask that anyway? Why are they asking that?
I knew I was gay at a very young age. So I've kind of always been ready, or kind of always known. Like I was over here at like 6 years old, like looking at a TV screen, and there was like a boy, and I was like, he's cute. Like, I was like, yeah, I already knew. So like, I feel like it just depends what you determine what exploring your sexuality is, because at least in my book, I feel like I've already labeled it, and I'm already confident and happy with it.
I'm not gonna skip this. That was kind of weird.
Best thing ever.
I feel safe at school. 3, 2, 1, go.
Huh?
My campus security are amazing. They have a personal relationship with all the students. I've had bomb threats at my school. I've had like shootings literally walking distance down the street where the school had to go on lockdown. It's unfortunate, but also like it just makes me really aware. Like for every classroom, I have what's my hide plan? Who are my people? I don't feel comfortable putting my phone in the phone chart because if something happens, I want to text my family. And that's why COVID like lifted a lot of weight off my shoulders because I didn't have to worry about that all the time. Also, like a lot of people at my school who have mental health struggles, I'm always afraid that like someone won't be properly treated for that and then they'll just snap one day,
My school has had multiple sexual assault scandals.
Growing up in Canada, dude, I felt the safest at school. That school was super safe, so I can't relate at all.
Like my history teacher right now, my world history teacher, If it weren't for the current sub, it would be with basically a pedophile. So it's scary. And when she mentioned like the bomb, I remember last year someone created an account with our school name and it was like shooting or something on this day, and our school ended up canceling school for that day, and it was horrible.
I feel so fortunate to have grown up in a really privileged area where there's not a lot of violence. However, I feel like I'd be ignorant to say that a school shooting would never happen, because all it takes is one kid out of the 2,500 students that I have to take a gun to school and shoot people. And I feel like there's so many different openings on my campus where that could happen.
We have gates, but it honestly looks like a prison.
Okay, yeah, that's me
I
too.
won't lie. We have security guards. They're not armed, which was a conversation that came up. Should our security guards be armed? And another conversation came up, should our teachers be armed? You know, there's just topics like that. I remember this was actually recently, one of the old students at the college threatened to shoot up the whole school, and so even we had to go remote. So it's just like never.
Guys, I don't want to have a big gun discussion, okay? But I'm gonna keep it a buck and a stack, okay? I saw some video, okay? I think it was a church, some shit. I'm pretty sure it was a church, some shit. Some guy pulls out with a gun, okay? Walking to the side, and he's about to shoot up the place, and some grandpa in the fucking audience pulls up, motherfucker, goes like that, and insta taps that fucking bozo the clown. Bro, that motherfucker got me converted, motherfucker. I'm out here fucking, dude, I'm out here fucking doing crosses and shit at this point, man. Bro, this fucking believer just one tap that buster across the map. Dude, it was dead ass across the map, man. You seen that, right? Holy shit, man. That's insane.
I feel safe.
My social media presence.
So I'm not trying to like push the gun agenda, but if you have a very mentally stable, responsible adult, very professional, very trained person that's strapped up, if some guy pulls up and he's thinking he's about to be the absolute buster and go and shoot people, well, I mean, if you have a guy in school that they know for a fact is strapped up with some, he's gonna just stab that buster. So not only if it happens, I would assume it'd be likely to be stopped. He probably even has an argument not to go through with it. So I don't know. I think it's a discussion, I guess.
Is important to me. 3, 2, 1, go.
Is that a bad day?
I don't particularly post, like maybe just on my story, you know, but like I'm not like constantly posting. And if you do, that's perfectly fine. Like that's a lot of people's outlets, and especially creativity.
I don't own a single social media, and like not as like a flex. I'm just saying like I hate the presence of an app in my mind. Like you should.
Oh boy, yeah, this guy's been capping it, bro. Guys, you guys said Chad. Bro, this guy is so capping, dude. His neck is snapping from all the caps on his head. He
do this like it's an app on my phone. Like I don't want to give it any part of my life, so I'd just rather not have it.
I think sometimes with social media nowadays, it also can fall into career, which is really weird, but that's like what I do. It's like, oh, I can't post that picture of me like flipping off the camera with my friends because like a college or a future boss, because your digital footprint is so real. But I also I love having social media. Like I've had it for years. I've always like tried to ground myself and realize that it's just for fun. It's not that serious.
There are some people who I know who have like shown or done some really crazy stuff, and it's spread everywhere. Like, there's some things I do not need to know, and people just tell me. Like, on Instagram, there's like close friends, and there's like normal story, and I post on close friends so much more than I do on my normal story.
Or like a spam account.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
post on my spam account like way more.
A couple years ago, I would have been right there, like on the strongly agree. You know, like, because when I moved to the new school, a lot of people were like, oh, how many followers do you have? If you had over 1,000, it's like, yo, you got clout, like you're good. Digital footprint, that is no joke. Like everything you post will come back at you. I'm so glad Instagram took.
Bro, back in my days, dude, we only had Facebook friends, and we had like 150 on average, 200 friends if you were balling out, right? And if you met a girl, right, and you were to add her on her Facebook, and she had like 450, 500 friends, you were like, nah, I have no chance. I'm good, bro. And you would just give up right there. That's what I did, didn't it?
Off that feature where you could see what other people liked. Do y'all remember that? That was ridiculous.
That's why I'm very aware of what I post. I make sure this is what I want everyone to see.
And yet when I'm so sorry. When you're a kid, like you want social media, like when you first find out about it, like when I was 9 years old, I was like begging my mom to let me have Instagram. And now, like, I'm even embarrassed of like the little like selfies I would post because like they're so stupid. So like looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, I would totally never let like my 7-year-old on social media, like, you know, things like that. But I actually did have social media.
Yeah, kind of a side topic nobody gives a fuck about. Okay, I know it's like some fucking pop culture type shit. Yo, what is up with Kim Kardashian and letting her child go absolutely fucking wild on TikTok and shit? Fuck is that about, man? Yo, listen, I hate this issue like this. Kanye was right, not about some of this shit cities recently, but about the shit before that and related to this topic. Sorry about that. Holy fuck that. Okay, what the fuck? Oh, dude, fuck, man.
Media very young.
Yeah, me too.
I got Twitter when I was 6. My mom made it and managed it, but I would still like. I would tweet about like my little kindergarten like crushes.
Jesus.
You like having your mom like to like guide like the account. I feel like I didn't have that, unfortunately. So I feel like it just depends. Like your digital footprint could be much more harmful like when you don't have parents that know how to handle social media or know how to prevent it. Because my parents, they've never used social media. They don't have a single account. So growing up like begging, I don't think they knew the harmfulness of it. And I don't blame them for that at all, but I feel like that's what led to me being exposed to a lot of stuff. So I feel like definitely with the new generation and if...
Yo, what about a setting that's like child mode, right? It's a little bit like the no leaks mode or whatever the fuck. You just have it on and it's just like they can't download all the apps that they want or whatever. Just a fucking child mode on the phone, man. Is that something that they have? It exists? Oh, okay. It's useless. Okay, fair enough.
I don't know if I'll have kids, but if I do, they're not on social media, at least for me.
When those iPad kids, I mean, those kids who use iPads, it's
My
so
sister's an iPad kid.
addicting. It's so addicting, and you need parental controls because social media is crazy. Like, or having your parents run the account, regardless. It's just so, that's so important.
iPad
Or even having
kids.
influencers like Andrew Tate who are like influencing these like little boys to think that that mentality is like normal.
Yeah.
I feel like social media has drastically altered my personality, especially during...
I was babysitting this one time, okay? I babysitting a kid, and then I gave him the iPad, and I'm not fucking with you, okay? This kid sat there on a sofa, and he was watching, it was like an old, like some cartoon movie, like Teletubbies or some shit, in Chinese for like 6 hours straight. I was like, dude, this is so easy. This is so, dude. Of course, some parents probably feel like it's easy. Fucking, dude, I thought it's easy. iPad on the sofa, 6 hours. Some bullshit show in Chinese, and he didn't understand any of it. But he was just locked in. I was like, dude, fuck it.
COVID. And I feel like if it could change me that much, just imagine a 6-year-old having access to a phone for their basically entire childhood. But like, honestly, I got so sensitive to being in front of camera that I feel like I kind of forgot about digital footprint and stuff like that.
I have hope for the future. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't know, man. Seeing an iPad kid, I'm like, wow, what job is he gonna have? You know, I mean, he knows more about like scrolling to the next video than like anything that like will help him get a job. I don't know. I don't feel like I have very much hope for our and the next generations, as like I feel we keep getting like the younger generations kept getting like.
These things, Chad, maybe they self-regulate. It's a bunch of lazy people, a bunch of people that aren't doing shit, right? Makes it so it's like supply and demand. I would assume. And the ones that want to put in the effort, they get rewarded heavily. And it creates a big gap and makes people, yo, what the fuck? If you actually put in effort, you go hard, you do get rewarded. And it self-regulates a bunch. That's just my opinion, though.
Like profited on and like abused almost.
Somebody's laziness is somebody else's opportunity. You leave some space, you don't close in the gap, so he comes in and you yoinks it. Then what's it causes? Everybody mauling, oh my God, I want this, I want that. Okay, well you could have, but you're a fucking lazy bum for it. That's just how it is.
When I heard this question, I kind of thought about like social justice and like the issues that we're experiencing right now. Like there can be a change. And I just really don't think that people back in the day were seeing that type of change. Everything was just thrown kind of under the rug, not really spoken about.
I still love to dream like, oh, I would love to achieve this one day, but even if I don't have that financial capability, I still have hope. I hope I can.
Dad gave me a brain like a problem, like a worm.
To get there one day, and I still try to remain positive.
Everyone's goal at the end of the day is just to be happy in what they're doing and make a difference in either your own or someone's life. And I think
fuck all that
like
shit.
just by having this discussion, like there's so much hope for everyone in here to go on and be successful in that, no matter what it is. So I have a lot of hope for the future, and I'm really excited, even though I'm nervous and I'm anxious about a lot of it, I'm really excited to see like in my personal life, like what that means for me. Because I know I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah, I want to be jaded, but that's just not how it is. If that's your mindset, I mean, you're already failing. You're a failure. That's just how it is. Yo, if you have no resources and you can't fucking do things for yourself, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go help the world. But the reality is, you're not gonna do shit for anybody, not even yourself, man. That's just kind of how it is, dude.
Stop until I'm happy with what I'm doing.
I mean, I feel really grateful for our generation because a lot of us are very open-minded to having these types of conversations, whether or not it relates to us or exists in our nature. But I feel like people are so open to change now, and I feel like that's just great moving forward. And I feel like a lot of us Gen Z people have gone through such traumatic and bad experiences that we're gonna become amazing parents one day.
Like, I think I remember like during quarantine, there was like a sign in New York that said we had like this many years left and before our world like ends or something. And my sister is an iPad kid, and I've seen
Yo, what is an iPad? They keep saying iPad kid. What is this shit?
How she is. And it's like, I want to say I have hope for the future, but just based off what I'm seeing, it feels like there's no change, kind of.
It's a thing? Yeah. Wait. When you raise your kid by giving him an iPad. Oh, so I did when I was babysitting it. Oh, I mean, fuck it. I don't care. That kid was a demon, bro. That kid used to abuse his fucking dog. Dude, at first, I told you this before, right? I used to babysit this kid, and he was like a demon, and he would abuse his dog, and then I kept putting him, like he would fight me to go fight the dog, pretty much, and he would punch him. So I had the dog outside, right? And one point I was like, this is fucking stupid. And I did the opposite. Why should the dog be on the leash when it's the kid being a dumb fuck? So what I did is I swapped them. I swapped roles. I had the dog inside and the kid outside. They didn't have a leash, but I mean, I locked them out. Bro, I do not give a fuck. I don't care, man. You can say whatever you want about it, man. I locked them outside. Fuck them. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, yeah, I mean, you had to play outside anyway. You had to play outside.